Alright friends, so we are almost done, and the only thing which is left is the modal or the dialog box, which displays the information about like an individual job. Just like this is the final version, and if we click on the check button, it opens this dialog box which has the rest of the details. So let's work with this, and in our project, let's create a new file inside the job, which we will name it as view job modal. And let's import React from React and few components from material UI. And essentially the components that we will be importing are kind of the same as what we had in the new job modal. So let's get over here and let's import all the basic stuff, and we will remove the one which we do not need. And over here let's just paste it. And also I would be copying something from the dialog title below over here basically, and I will just keep it in my the clipboard for now. And over here let's export default the functional component, and this component it won't be having it won't be having the state, so let's just export the JSX directly, and let's just have the dialog component, and within it let me just paste the dialog title. And for this we need to import the close icon, and we can do that by going in the icons lib. One second, come on, icons, and close as close icon. Perfect. And now below the dialog title, let's make the dialog content, and we also need the dialog action which has the apply button basically. So let me just save it, and let's import this view job, not moda, it's supposed to be modal anyway. So let's import it below the new job modal, and it is new view job, and we will be passing the open and the close prop as well. But for now let's just hard code the value of open to be true so that it's easy to work with, and let's just save it as well. And let's see what do we have. And also we need to pass in the full width prop to this, and let's see, let it come. Okay, something is wrong, and it has to be actions, that's why. Close modal is not defined. Okay, we are calling this function which we have not yet created anyway, so let's just remove it, and let's see what do we have. Okay, so we it's a good start, and we actually want to create something like this. So, and these are all the details which we have to pass in the modal basically from the individual jobs. So let's do it. And the way we can work with this is let's create a state, and that would be view job and set view job, and it would be an object. Now basically the way we intend to do it is when we are mapping over each job over here. And so the way we want to work with, when the user clicks on the check button of any particular job card, we will change the state of this set view job to we will change this object to be of that particular job, so that if once the state has been changed, and we can check whether or not if this view job has something if the object is populated, that means the user is basically selecting any particular job, and accordingly we can show it in the modal. Now it may not make much sense right now, but let's just work with this. And what we intend to do is on this set view job, let's take this function, and basically on the job card we will pass in a prop called open. And what this will do is it will be a callback, and it will basically call this function and set the current job as the state for this one. And we have to call this function, the open one, within the job card. So let's open it, and where the check button is, so let's just add it over here, and let's just call this function. So basically when the user clicks on this function, it will change the state. We are passing this function which is a callback, it will change the set view state, and it will set it as the current job, like the object for that job. And we can check if that object is populated, because otherwise it would be blank, and we can check accordingly. If it is populated, then that means that user wants to see that the information about that job. So over here where we actually pass in the view job, and basically this cannot be like, we cannot hard code the open one because we have to pass in the details. So let's just remove this open for now, and over here where is it, the view job modal, let's pass in open prop, and we can name it as open view job modal, or like we can have the open itself. And over here now what we need to do is the value of open should be true or false depending upon if there is something in the object, like this view job object, and we can check it very like in. And instead, like there is a better way to do this, like that is we can directly pass in the job, because in like anyhow we will be needing the job as well. So let's just pass it anyway, and we can pass in the view job, and also the function which closes the job. So we can add in the close modal, and that would be the set view job, and we will set the value of it to be object again. And now we need to use this, like the job inside the view job modal, and inside over here let's add in the open prop, and the value of it would be the, like we will check if the view job object is populated, and we can check in such a manner of object dot keys, and we can pass in the view job that we are passing in from, not the view job, sorry, the job that we are passing in as props. And we can check the length of this, because the object dot keys will return back the array of different fields within that object, and we can check that if the length is 0, so we can coerce it by adding 2 exclamatory marks. So that's going to coerce the value in like boolean, whether true or false. So if the value of it is false, like if the value of it is 0, that's going to result in false, thus the dialog box won't open. But if there is a value like higher than 0, like 1 or 2, whatever the fields are in there in that job object, then the value of it would be true, and then thus the dialog box component will be visible. So that's great, and we can actually test this out right now, and let's have a look over here. Let it load. Too many re-renders. Okay, I think we are passing in a function that we are executing, and I think that's the only reason why. And yep, I guessed it right. Over here it has to be a callback. The close modal has to be a callback, which is changing the state to an empty object. So let's have a look now. Okay, perfect, it is working. And if I click on the check button, so yeah, now we are actually, like now the modal actually is displaying. And let me just go through again like what exactly is working. Like we have a state of view job and set view job, and this job, like this object or this state actually contains the object of that job, and we are setting the job by passing into the job card. As you can see, we are passing in the open function, which basically sets the value of the state to be the job object, and we are checking if, like over here we are passing the view job as a prop to the view job modal, as you can see. And inside of the view job modal we are checking that if that object is populated, then that means the user has clicked on any particular job, which and the current state of it is that particular job, and thus depending upon it we are showing this modal box. So that's great. Now let's just display the different information or the details about the job over here. The first thing is, as you can see, the job title at the company name. So let's do that. Over here, instead of the post job title, let's set it as props. Now we can actually check in, we can see the details because we are passing in the job prop, and all the different fields would be inside of it. So let's check job props.job.title and at props.job.company name, and let's just have a look. So if I click on it, yep, it is actually working. As you can see that we have that title and the company name. So let's continue with the dialog content, and what we need to show is the posted on, job type, job location, and all the different stuff. So let's have a box that wraps around all the different fields, and these individual fields would be like wrapped in a box component as well. So let's work with it. Box component, and within it we will be having a typography, and the like for this one, for the label particular for the label one, we can change the variant to be of caption so that it's pretty small, and the name of it would be the posted on. Let's hard code this one, posted on, and the value of it would be the props.jobs.posted on, not jobs, sorry, it is job posted on. Perfect. And we also need to change the display of it to be flex so that they are aligned next to each other, and we can add in a colon over here. And let's have a look at this one, because the rest of it will follow kind of the same pattern. And if it is displaying fine, if I click on it and something went wrong, and if I check the console over here, it says, one second, oh yeah, I get it. Sorry, made the same mistake, because this is a timestamp and we need to format it. So what we will do is, for now, let's just use the backticks, and eventually we will format it as well. And let's just see if it is working or not. Well, it is actually working, that's why we saw that error. Now if I click on this button, yep, it is actually working. And let's just format this text, sorry, the timestamp. So the way we can do is, let's import the format function out of the date FNS library. It has a format function which will allow us to kind of format our date or timestamp in a way, and you can learn more about it by going at date FNS format, and it gives you a different like formatting options. Like you can display the week, month, the time, basically it gives us all the formatting options. And if I go back over here, the way we can format is, let me just remove this, the backticks, and we have to use the format function that we are importing, and the first argument is the timestamp, and the second one is the like the format in which you want it to be formatted. And let me just add in the formatting, like the format in which format we want it to be. And this is the convention that the library follows, such as if you need to show the date, you add in dd, and the this is all this all has been stated in the documentation. You can have a view and you can kind of format it accordingly, even if you want to implement the same thing in your own project, and you can see in which the different options that you have over here. Anyway, so if we have a look at it right now, invalid time value, and the reason to this particular error is mainly because when we actually run the application for the first time, when we are running for the first time, then the view job state is actually an object, and we are passing this this object within the view job modal over here. And even though this model is being displayed on condition whether this object is populated or not, but anyhow the rest of the code is still being read. And that's why if we are checking the if we have the format function and we are passing props.job, we won't be having the job, because the job would be an empty object at the very start, because that's the kind of the default state of it, and we are referring to a value that does not exist. So that's why it is resulting in an invalid timestamp. And we can check that by props.job.posted on, and we can add in the double ampersand, so that, sorry about that, so we can check that if the value is in there, only then format it. And we won't have to do this on each field, because right now we are actually using this value in a function, and that's why it's throwing an error. And if I save it right now, and let's have a look, if I click on this, alright, perfect, so it is being formatted very well. So now let's just work with the rest of it. And also we will import the make styles. Yeah, we are actually importing it. And what we can do is, let's create the style sheet of use style, make styles, and let's have the object only for now. And what we can do is, for these individual information this job which is displaying the label and the value of it, let's give it a class name of classes. Now we will be having classes. I have not yet created anyway, and also info with info class name within this one, and let's have it info. And the way we want it to work is like, let's add like the nested styling, and that is all the elements inside the components which has the class name of info. Give them a margin of about 5 pixel so that we do have some spacing between these two. And let's use this hook. Okay, we need to change it like this and return the JSX. And now let's have the classes and execute this. And yeah, now we are using the info. So if we have a look at it now, we should be having a bit of spacing, so that will look kind of nice. If I click on this, yeah, so that's looking better. Let's change the text of it, not to be of caption, but let's change it to be body 2, so that it's a bit more like you can say a higher font size. And if I have a look, yep, it is actually looking nice. Or we could have done the other way, like this could have been the bigger, but anyway, you know how to do it, and that's perfect. Let's just copy it down and let's see what all fields that we have to display. The second one is the job type. So over here, okay, I should not duplicate it, because now let's just add in the job type, and the second one is job location, and let's add the third one, job description, company name, company URL. We can change the URL to be website, so that's more descriptive. And the skills, and for skills we won't be giving the display flex to the box, and so that each of them, like the typography and the grid container, which is basically showing the skills, are on different line. And within like this next one, in which like we are displaying the skills, we are again checking that if the skills are like, if the object does have skills within it, the job object, and after that we are mapping over each skills. Because like as you can see, the way that we did it, like while we were formatting, and we have to kind of do this, because if you attach, like if you use any of the property or any of the property that may not exist, and you use it along with the function, like in conjunction with some function, or like just like what we are doing over here, because right now JavaScript does not know that whether or not this skills, like what data type this skills would be, and we are kind of chaining the map. Thus, if we do not add this, it will result in an error, and you can kind of see it by yourself. Like if I have it over here and it will refresh, and it's going to throw an error right now, mapped of undefined, because right now this value, the skills one within the job object, is kind of undefined. So how can you use a function, or how can you use a method that is only available for array types? That's why we are first checking if like the skills is present like in the job object, and thus we are doing the exact same thing of mapping on each one of them, creating the grid component of type item. We have the the key, and we also need to pass in the skill chip styling, and we can copy that from the job card. And let's go over there. In here we have the skill chip, so let's copy it and let's just paste it after the info. Let's have it over here and let's see how is it. Theme is not defined. Okay, yeah, actually we do need to change it to a function, and we can do that easily by, so we have the function, we are returning back an object implicitly, and we are using some of the values from the theme that we have. So let's have a look. If I click on it, yep, everything is looking nice, and it does look a bit odd over here, mainly because the scale has the margin to it. And what we can do is, so let's just remove this the info one, but it's gonna look a bit odd because that's it will be shifted to like more on the left side. If we have a look, yep, let it as you can see, it is kind of shifted because we are adding margin to all side. So let's just change it for 4. Like let me explain you why. We are adding a margin of 4 to all the grid, like all the elements within the class info component, the component which uses the class info. And what we can do is, to this box we can add a margin left of about 0.5. so that's gonna be how, like that's gonna be 4 pixels as well, because the value is multiplied by 8 pixel. So if we have a look at it right now, yep, it is actually looking nice. much better. Anyway, you can do the custom formatting all by yourself, and now let's just work with the apply button, so that when the user actually clicks on it, it opens the link on a separate window. And for that, it is pretty easy. Let's have the button component, and it will be of variant outlined. Text would be apply. And now what we want to do is, like, when the user clicks on it, it is basically a anchor tag, and when the user clicks on it, it opens the link on a separate window, and it's the plain old the plain old HTML one. And what we can do is we can specify what component, like what HTML, and we can specify what HTML element this button component can be by passing in a component prop, and we can say that this has to be an anchor tag. Thus, we can pass in the different attributes like the anchor tag takes, such as the href, the hyperlink reference, and we can set it to be of props.job, and within that job we have that the field called link. Also, we want to open this in a separate window, so we can set a target of _blank so that it opens in a separate window. So if we have a look at it right now and we check the modal, we can see the button, and if I click on it, yep, it is opening the job link on a separate window. So that is perfect, and that basically kind of concludes the entire series, and it has been great. Like, it has been a great one, and I would love to hear your views on this one. Plus okay, 1 second, we are forgetting one thing. Okay, that's kind of funny. We forgot to kind of implement this one, and it's pretty easy. And if I go over here, that's kind of embarrassing. So we need to call this function, by the way. So over here inside the button, not this one but the close one, we need to set on click to be props.closeModal. So let's have a look at it now, and I have to kind of go through my ending speech again. Anyway, so if you enjoyed this series, I would love to hear your views, and also I would really appreciate if you could kind of go back to each of the video in this playlist and like that video. I should have mentioned it back then, but anyhow, if you could do that, it's hardly going to take a minute, but it's really going to help this channel. And thank you for watching, and make sure to hit subscribe and that bell icon to know, like, to get notification whenever